Welcome to the Watching Now podcast from CouchTube. This week we are doing Alien Earth episode 3. 3. It's the magic number, maybe. I don't know.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah.
They
One,
did do
two,
a whole
three.
song about it.
Three, that's a magic number.
Let's introduce our cast. We've got me, I'm Ian, and we've got Katie.
Hello. That's it.
That's it. That's
That's it.
that's
It's
the
just us.
cast. We thought we might have had another person today, but
We have her comments though.
and we will be going through some of them at least, whilst we're talking about it, because she has some views,
It's true. Some
some
views.
some views. So they may be diametrically opposed to some of our reviews, but like that makes for good conversation, right? It makes for a good like. It'd be boring, but a really boring world if everyone just agreed with each other, saying, "Yep, you're all right. Everybody's right."
It's true. A little bit discourse is good for the soul.
Hmm.
A
Hmm.
little bit.
Little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. A little bit, aye.
Okay.
Healthy, good discourse is good
A,
for the soul.
yeah, a good, healthy discourse, not just like
People yelling at each
opposites
other.
just shouting at each other saying you're all assholes. That sort of stuff. That's not good for the soul. That makes me angry and make me want to rage quit social
Mhm.
media. Yeah.
Also, it's not productive. It's not productive.
No.
We don't need to get into this. I have a lot of feelings about it, but we don't need to get into it.
Let's not go into this. Let's go into our initial thoughts about Alien Earth Episode 3. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Do I just go?
Yes, Katie, you entered.
Yeah, okay. I thought I was like, what's happening? Is this a transition? Am I meant to just start talking? I've done podcasts before.
I mean, it was a transition. Now we're just after the transition, and we're still
Cool.
talking about the transition. So that's great kind of podcasting.
I'm really good at this.
I'm good at this.
Thoughts on this episode? Well, I said it to you before we started recording, but every week we do this, I'm really tired from work and I go, oh God, I have to watch the episode for watching now. I have to do it. And then I start feeling really resentful about the fact that I have to do a thing in the evening. And then I sit down and I watch it and I go, oh, wait, this slaps. This show's really good. But that's most of my thoughts about it. Everything else I have to say, for the most part, is spoilery. But I really liked this one. I love when an episode of television titles itself really well. I know it doesn't like title itself for like, but like when they title episodes of television very like thematically appropriate to actually the things that are happening in the episode, which you'd think is the bare minimum, but doesn't
Hmm.
always happen. Just doesn't. But the fact that this one was called Metamorphosis, and I felt like they lived up to that as a title quite well. Yeah, I'm a fan of that when that happens. And I really liked this one. I don't know if I liked it any better than the previous one, but I feel like we're heading in an interesting direction. I think that's all I have to say right now. You talk now.
I will do. Episode titles are weird, aren't they? Because like I don't pop off when someone just says the word of the title, going they said it. They said the word.
Right.
Ah. But when it's actually a decent like almost metaphor for what's going on
Hmm.
in that, it's pretty good. I really enjoyed this episode as well. Like it's good. It's really good. They made some decisions that I wasn't expecting
Hmm.
and subverted my expectations, which is I think that's good. Maybe that there's one specific decision where I'm like, could they have gone on a little bit longer with that thing? But in general, that it did go in a place where I wanted it to go, which was more of like a political talky thing
Hmm.
with like horrific overtones and tension and stuff,
Hmm.
and that's still going on, and I really like that vibe. Just still really enjoying it.
Mm.
Want to watch next week? See how we go next week.
Inevitably, I will have the exact same reaction as I did this week, where I'll get home from work and I'll be like, "Oh fuck, I've got to watch Alien Earth tonight," and then I'll finally sit down and watch it and go, "You know what? This is good."
Exactly. That
I
I think
did,
that's
I did have to wait a day because I just got home on Wednesday and was like, "No, not today."
yeah. Not today, Satan. Not today.
Not today's Erg.
Not today, Zerg.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
We should probably get onto that. Let's go to the spoilers.
Woohoo.
Right, let's start with the first 15 minutes of the episode. Not doing this chronologically again, but we're doing Joe, we're doing Wendy, and we're doing the Xenomorph because that's the
Mhm.
big thing that happens
Mhm.
right away
Mhm.
in this episode. All right, so Joe, do you want any more plot armor, please? We talked about this episode.
I don't think he's surviving much longer.
I mean, what is he going to be purely human from now on?
I feel like the worry it is at this point, it's like the stakes often are life or death. And now he's entering into a third thing,
Yes,
which may be worse.
had just like. What is going on, Joe? So Joe got like tackled off of a massive building
Mm,
last week. When Wendy finds him, he's in the back of like a meat container,
mm.
and he's, smushed up against the wall in that alien goo thing that the alien does, but we never see how that actually like
Happens.
gets secreted
Beautiful.
from aliens ever.
Ah,
Yes, I said secreted. Sorry, guys. I don't know. That's disgusting. But like, he gets smushed up against the wall and he can't get out. And Wendy's trying to get him out, and it's all good. But like, Joe, you're a human. You've faced this alien about 4 times now, and you are still surviving. Yes, we know Ripley does that. But like, you just you feel like a red shirt, but you're not being a red shirt.
no, he's very much oh, how do I put this properly? I mean, he's a wet cat of a character. He's got those big eyes that look like terrified all the time, which means he's like perfect material to just sort of bully,
Yeah.
basically within the narrative, without ever killing him, which is usually my favorite type of character. But they've done it so much to him already in 3 episodes that I'm like, good Lord, give him a break.
Yeah.
Let him rest.
Because like, even in this episode, right, Wendy finds him. She stabs the alien. Does this weird thing where it goes peekaboo and then falls away and then runs on top of the container. Wendy stabs it with a big knife. That's not a knife. This is a
This is a
knife.
knife.
Yeah. Um. The the acid drops down. It hits him somewhere on the shoulder, but he gets it off before it goes. So already near death experience again there. Um, and then the container rolls and
Cool. That
Joe.
was a cool shot.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
It was just kind of sick.
yeah, it was really cool. Like that whole cat and mouse thing with the Xenomorph was really really good. And then like he walks a little bit further out. The Xenomorph stabs him through the lung. It looks like, and then chucks him halfway
I
across the
don't even
room.
think it's the lung. I think it's just his like it's sort of solar plexus sort of middle
Oh,
area.
okay.
The lung does they just take that later.
Oh, okay, fair. But yeah, like he's been fully ran through with the Xenomorph tail,
Hmm.
chucked across the room. The Xenomorph goes a bit creepy and creeps up on top of him. The little mouth comes out, meh, and he's saved again by Wendy. He's
I do
saved.
think that the way that she did that was kind of sick though.
I
Like just as like, oh, that's actually pretty smart. Like although it was kind of like, I mean, like Chekhov's hook basically within like 2 minutes where it got brought up and suddenly it was like, hey, look, we're going to pay this off now. But it was well, I did think it was smart. I think it was smart and quick thinking on her part to do that. Um, and I believed it. Especially coming from her. But yeah, but oh, one of the things that Lily said as she was watching the episode, we didn't realize that she was watching the episode, which she went, "Oh my God, I can't believe Joe just opened the door." And then I watched the episode and I went, "Well, yeah, of course he did, because
hmm.
that's his sister that he thought was dead. Of course, that's going to be the first thing that he does. People are kind of stupid sometimes."
He just closed the door, got rid of the Xenomorph, but like Wendy's trapped.
Mm,
Marcy is trapped, I guess. For him, Marcy is
it's
trapped,
Marcy.
right? And we don't see the fight, which I kind of liked.
Mm.
I liked the noises and the bashing around because like it leaves stuff to the imagination.
It also implies something. I mean, we'll get into this properly, I suppose, when we talk about Wendy properly. But I think it also kind of implies that something else happened in there that we don't know about,
Oh.
considering where the end of the episode ends up. I know it was kind of set up a bit before this point, but I feel like something else may have occurred. That's
Hmm.
just my thoughts on the matter.
So he opens the door. Wendy's on Wendy. Well, the alien is in two bits.
Mm,
The head and the rest. And Wendy starts white blood bleeding from her head and then collapses on the floor. And Joe goes over and goes, "Oh no, Marcy! Oh no!" And then they'll both collapse, right?
mm.
So I mean, that's the sort of the end of Joe for the episode, apart from when Prodigy nick his lung.
It's a fucking Tucker's. I could not. I wrote it in caps. I like it's the only. It's not true. I have written a bunch of other things in capitals, but like it's the only one I wrote full in capitals where I just wrote they took Joe's lung, just his whole lung,
It
and
seemed
gave
like a
it a
fairly healthy
xenomorph
lung.
and gave it a xenomorph parasite. Okay. Poor guy just doesn't have a lung now. You know you need both of those. It's not like kidneys. You actually
Yeah,
need both of your lungs.
yeah, but he doesn't have one.
What did they replace it with?
Well, is Joe now a cyborg?
Hmm. Who knows?
Who
He
knows?
seems to still be alive.
He does. He's so plot armored up. Like he's now like he's got like three helmets on, like a bunch of elbow pads.
But it is that kind of plot armor where it's like, well, we're going to make sure he doesn't die because we're going to do as many things that are worse to him as possible. He's just going to suffer. So at this point, I'm kind of like, oh God. Like, I know I didn't actually write it down this time because I was like, at this point, I feel like he's, I don't think he's, yeah, I followed it up with my man is not surviving. So I just don't, I don't see. If they do, it's gonna be like I'm gonna end up watching through my hands of just sort of like, what are they doing to him?
Do you think by the end of the season, Joe is going to be the ship of Theseus? When, like,
Yeah, that or like either they'll make him suffer a bunch and he'll just die, or they will just keep taking out body parts and keep replacing them with things.
uh, that bit got chopped off. We may as well replace that bit by something. He needs a new heart now. Let's with like a mechanical one. It's fine.
Alvin the Treacherous Call.
Yeah.
That's a very specific reference for people who have read the How to Train Your Dragon books.
Yeah, I didn't. I just agreed and
But
nodded.
for the people who know, Alvin was the main antagonist for the series, and basically every time he turned up, he lost another limb. So by the end of it, he didn't have a nose, he didn't have any hair, he lost an arm, he lost a leg. Um, uh, I think he lost an eye. Um, he was basically just like a patchwork man, who'd been through the horrors. Um, Deserved.
I mean, yeah. So Joe,
Should be
i-
Theseus.
yeah, ship of Theseus Joe. We call him Theseus Joe. No, we won't call him that.
No, he's
That's
just gonna
really
go
bad.
from being hermit to Theseus.
Yeah, that's pretty much Joe. He's lying in like a tube, still surviving somehow in the Prodigy lair. Wendy.
Wendy.
Yeah, going really quickly back to the hook and the little mouth, right?
Mhm.
Do you think that's like the same sort of thing as someone like grabbing like a teenager's ear, like the mum grabbing the like it's
I
just
think
like a
it's
really big pressure point for
I
them, and
think
they're
it's
like, oh no,
closer to somebody like grabbing your tongue and like
oh
pulling
yeah,
you around by it, which
oh God, oh please.
which is just not fun. Sorry, Wendy. My brain fucking malfunctioned then. My what I wrote some huge questions in this one, and then I wrote two questions, and they were both about Wendy, where I wrote, what the fuck is going on with Wendy, and how is she connected to the alien? And those were the questions that I asked, because I was like, I'm pretty sure there are other questions, but those are the ones that are the most pressing in my mind. Um, I think
Yeah.
whatever's going on, it's very interesting. And why I think that maybe something happened in there,
Mhm.
in the little room. is partly because the episode is called Metamorphosis. There's a very much a thing of like something old dying and being reborn as something else. The nature of metamorphosis as a concept is she essentially like cocooned for a bit and then woke up and was suddenly like, oh, there's something different going on here. And I know that there was kind of set up to suggest that she was already a little bit connected to it because when they arrived, she was constantly going like, what's that noise? Can you guys hear
Yeah.
that? But I think something that it was kind of like there was like a meeting of some sort that has clearly made some changes in her physiology, psychology. I'm not
Oh,
entirely sure.
the physiology is a weird way to say it because like she hasn't got any
Well, this is why
physiology.
but like, it feels more physical than it does like mental. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's done something to some of her circuits. I don't know. Like the guys trying to fix her were pretty worried about some of the injuries that she got.
Yeah, he did make a point to be like, this bit here, I need you to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
Um, when and we don't know what that thing was exactly, but she seems otherwise functional. It's just that for some particular reason, as they're experimenting on the face hugger, she felt it.
yeah. Like
Uh,
like maybe it was an auditory response. Like she was the only able to hear that clicking sound.
Maybe. It just, I don't know, there was something about it that felt like some part of her was it now. That
Hmm.
was something very intriguing. I don't know. It's a big question and it looks I am fascinated by whatever the fuck this is. And it also does more to kind of separate her out from being like the other female leads of the franchise in a very interesting way. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say any more about it because we don't know anything,
No.
but I'm like it's definitely caught on my brain a lot where I'm like, what's this? What's happening here?
Who's the president?
I mean, he definitely did. She definitely did hear a little bit of it.
Mm,
In the ship, the Maginot, on
mm,
like in the first or second episode. She did hear a little bit of clicking, but it's so pronounced in when after she wakes up from
mm.
her coma type thing, I guess you could call it. Yeah, it and it even made it collapse at the end. Whether that was she just woke up too early from her being fixed, or it was
That's
just like
not
so
what was
painful.
implied
No, I know, I know.
from the editing.
No, I know it wasn't. But maybe they'll say, I reckon they'll try and explain it away, as in like the people will try to explain it away as she's not quite done yet, you know?
Yeah, very, very funny to watch her get up, you know, clutch her head in pain and collapse, and none of them turned around.
Yeah.
They were just sort of like, we're busy. Do you think one of them eventually went, oh, Wendy's on the
Wendy's
floor?
here. When did turn up? Oh, okay.
Anyway, we're just gonna put her back
Well,
on
back
her
to the
little charging duck.
experiments. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yes,
Uh,
I'm very intrigued.
All right, let's just tackle it, right? Should the Xenomorph have been killed in episode three?
I don't know. I feel like we've not done. Obviously, we're not done with seeing it because they've got Chekhov's face huggers in the eggs. Somebody's gonna open up
Oh
one
yeah.
up, and it's gonna all go to hell. So I think it's just a matter of like, in terms of writing, we need to get this thing to Neverland so that we can like do the whole thing there instead, kind of more than anything else. Because I think the implication, or at least my guess, is that by the end of this, Prodigy is no longer going to exist as a company.
They're gonna get wiped
It's
the fuck
about to
out.
get like completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And Wayland Yutani is probably going to come in and completely like take over the entire like space. I also think that I think that this is why I'm more inclined to believe that something happened in there between Wendy and the alien, because I think it sets something up for like whatever's going on with her. It seems like she has a very intimate connection with this species in a way that doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now. So I'm fine with it dying. if only by her hands, because I feel like she's the like at this point she's kind of been set up as the only one who possibly could, and it
Hmm.
seems like she's already in tune with it in a way that like makes you go, oh, there's something different going on here. I don't think most normal like regular people like. I think if Joe had been alone, he'd be dead by now, right? I think the only reason he has the plot armor he does is because Wendy was like coming and turning up and all that sort of stuff. Um, I think yeah, but essentially Wendy is his plot armor, right?
Yeah.
But if he was on his own, he'd absolutely be dead by now. I did I think that there's narrative justification for it. I just don't know, think we know what it is yet. So
It,
I'm not fussy about it.
I don't know. The first when first saw it, I was like, well, come on, that's a little bit early for me. Like that, it feels like it's not. I mean, it's done a lot in those first two episodes. Don't get me wrong; it's murdered a shitload of people. It felt a little bit early for me to have it, but in the abstract, having an alien wander around New Siam
Mm,
is uncontained, and I don't think that's probably a good idea
mm,
because it would have eventually found its way outside of the building.
right.
No doubt. Having everything transported to a little island in the middle of the ocean, which they've already like,
Like that's a powder keg.
yeah, it's like it's sort of already contained at that point, and shit's not going to go well for that island. I would suggest. So
Yeah.
there is good justification to keep those secrets onto a contained facility. But I was a bit bummed out, and when it first
Yeah,
happened, I was a
it
bit
does
bummed
it you
out.
kind of goes, "Oh, okay, I guess we're done with this one at least." Fuck knows what's going to happen with the one that's now been implanted in Joe's fucking lung.
So Kirsch and the Cavalier. Then it ended this episode with Kirsch and two of the Lost Boys, Curly and Shadow and Bone Guy. I can't remember his name
I
in
think
this.
he's Tootles because he mentions it in a scene I'd actually like to talk about in a bit. Um, uh, I think he's Tootles.
One eternity later.
It is Tools. It is Tools. So yeah, Curly and Tootles were helping Kirsch with his
Mm.
experiments on the facehugger. Oof, it's
That
interesting.
was nasty. I
Like,
don't like goo
yeah.
in things, generally speaking. It's kind of one of my like, oh God, there was a lot of goo. I was just sitting there going, oh, this is gross. But hey, very cool practical stuff. I'm sure it was very fun for them when they got that shot where he cut into it and it just went bleh.
Yeah. For the first time on screen, I believe we
Mm,
have seen a xenomorph embryo thing, the actual parasite
hmm
that gets implanted through the facehugger, and then it goes into Joe's lung.
I don't know how, like, what, huh?
Yeah.
What's going on? What's happening? What's that?
What do we do with that?
No,
Like, it's just his lung. I don't understand. I'm very like, it's sort of crazy to think of what that's gonna look like after it gestates.
well, I just assumed that it was DNA rather than a whole ass person that it's like sort of copying. Like,
Mm.
so like I just assumed that it would be look generally like a xenomorph afterwards. I mean, it could be a deformed one, but like it's
Oh, sure. I meant more the process of it, like actually being like born, I guess.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Because, we know what that looks like, and it usually comes out through the stomach and goes "Bleh." To just have it in the lung feels very bizarre. I don't know. There's something about that shot of just the lung in suspended in the it's just like saline probably, and them just sort of dropping it in, and I was just sort of like, I don't know how to feel about this.
yeah.
It's just a lot. It's a lot. I like it, but it's a lot. I don't have a lot to say about Kirsch in this episode, other than I find he continues to get more interesting. I don't think he did anything very specific in this episode that made me think that. I just think that Timothy Olyphant's performance in this episode was particularly good. Something about the whole like confrontation with Morrow, and all that sort of stuff. I just really thought that everybody was like very on point and like precise. He's doing a lot of great work, I
Yeah,
think.
my favorite bit of it was him taking charge of the boy Cavalier and getting him the fuck out of that
hmm
lab because
hmm
he understood that the thing hatching was about to take the boy.
Hmm.
And that relationship is quite interesting
Hmm.
between Prodigy and Kirsch because
Hmm.
Prodigy basically calls him an idiot most of the time, but like Kirsch is the smartest person there, just on the sly, I think.
I think uh I think that it's the very interesting part of the conversation he has with Curly, which I really liked. Um uh where it kind of shows that he's very much all potential,
Hmm.
and Kirsch feels very much like the practical application of any of that potential, really. Maybe not any of it, but so like Kirsch feels like the very sort of straight-edged logical version of like this is what he probably could have been if he decided to actually grow up. Which, by the way, as I was watching that whole conversation between Curly and the boy genius, I was like, yeah, he's Peter Pan, absolutely Peter
Oh
Pan
yeah.
in this scenario. I also saw the Willy Wonka vibes a lot more in that scene as well. I was suddenly like, oh, I see it a lot in this, but I really liked it where he suddenly kind of stood up and was like, oh, okay, we have a new candidate for somebody who might actually give me an interesting conversation. Um, but
He's like he is a mix. I think he's a mix of Willy Wonka
mhm.
and a little bit of a Doctor Who vibes with his
Mm.
fecking scarves. I don't know
Hmm.
why. But he needs to wear socks. Man, does he not know about wiki feet? He just needs to stop
Bare
showing his
rippers
bare feet.
on the carpet. Man's got the dogs out, man.
I know.
But I found him very interesting in that scene because I think you got even more of a sense of the fact that this is a child that never really grew up, um, and didn't want to. So now he's very much like slightly arrested development, but also still extremely smart, um, and just wants to play. Which is like I'm like the more that they actually like the stuff that they actually do with this full metaphor, um, that like keeps working its way down and like really like I just it starts it's very satisfying to me the more I see bits and pieces slot into place and work very well for like the overall
Yeah,
narrative like telling. I'm like, oh, he this is a child who's looking for more children to play with who actually like
on his
are
level.
fun.
His version of fun is being intellectually stimulated fun.
Exactly.
I guess we should go on to the Lost Boys then. But before we do, just quick note from Lily. Timothy Olyphant is the best and should be protected at all times. He is the only reason that she's still watching the show.
And we understand. He's very, very good.
Let's start with Curly then, because she wants to be the boy Cavalier's favorite.
Hmm. She's clearly the most emotionally grown up of the lot of them. And I'm very much enjoying that performance as well because there's such a range of like maturity on display.
Oh, absolutely.
And it does make a lot of sense to me that one of the ones that comes across as the most um put together and like early maturation would be one of the girls.
Hmm.
Um and she's just ready to she's like I have thoughts, I want to do things, and I have ideas, and I want to try and all these things. My brain sort of left me
Yeah,
halfway through that sentence, but you know what I mean.
yeah, I do.
um I just really liked that conversation between the two of them because I think the guy who plays the boy Cavalier like just plays that sense of like slightly creepy but very childish sort of like wonder,
Yeah.
and like intrigue very, very well. And she's still like she managed to say all the right things in order to get him like, okay,
She
well
called
then
him dumb.
yeah.
She called him dumb, and that was the first thing that pricked his ears
He
up.
was
It's
like,
like
ah.
smart people don't ask dumb questions.
Mhm.
I liked that.
And he went, touche. Okay, let's
Mm.
play. I just thought that whole thing was very, very good. But then you got Slightly is the one that we were talking about last week who has apparently learned how to keep his mouth shut a bit.
But a little bit,
A
but
little
like
bit, but now
in
he's
the wrong
really being
way.
tested.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Smee, I think, is the other one.
Smee is slightly bro. He's the
Hmm.
bro,
Yeah,
Hey,
I
we
liked.
bros.
Yeah, I like that little thing. But it was also like this is the other end of the spectrum. These were clearly the youngest. I don't know if
Yes.
they were actually the youngest when they were like transferred, or they're just the youngest seeming. But
Hmm.
they come across very much at the most like children. Um, uh, in a very fun scene. Where it's just like, hey, look, here's some kids,
Hmm.
who are being threatened.
Yeah.
I just I did. It's so funny because I'm like, these are adults playing these people, and I'm still like, but those are children.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw this really cool octopus eye thing, bro, and it was so cool. I was like, oh man, oh, can't believe I missed that, bro. Yeah, bro.
Sweet! What about mine? Dude, what does mine say? Sweet!
Oh man, there was a 12-foot alien, dude.
Whoa, what a 12-foot alien. Whoa.
It was just fun. I think that's sweet. And plus the little moment afterwards when I don't know what the bald guy's name is, but he's like security, I guess.
Yeah, it's Aid
Um,
Edmondson, isn't it?
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't. The
Yeah.
the name is familiar. I don't really know. I have no other touchstone about it. But when he came in and was sort of like, "Tell me what happened," and they were like, "Oh, we're in trouble." But that little moment afterwards, when as Kurtz is watching them through the window, and Smee just goes over and like just sort of like comforts him. I was like, "This is just unbearably sweet."
He's cute.
These are kids.
I know. He's like, hey, you okay, bro? That was pretty tough.
Don't worry, I got you.
And unfortunately, Tootles had the least to do in this episode. Yeah.
He's just Kurtz's little right hand fella.
Yeah.
He's not even a man. He's just a fella.
And then we got Nibs. Nibs
Mm.
be crazy.
Nibs is not doing so hot.
Nibs be crazy. She crazy.
I can't tell if Nibs is not doing well just because of the psychological element or if the octopus eye thing did something.
Yeah, I mean it could be either, but like there's multiple shots in this episode where Nibs has just got the far away stare and she
She's not
doesn't it's not doing
not
hot.
doing well.
No.
Poor thing.
And towards the end, like in the end montage, she's like trying to touch her eye or
Mm.
in the
I think
mirror.
there's some I think if I had to guess, there's some kind of cognitive dissonance going on with the fact that she still feels like a normal child, but like I think it's a kind of body dysmorphia moment,
Hmm.
basically, of like this supposedly is my body, but I don't feel right in it. It's like everything like I think she's very acutely aware of the fact that it feels fake. And it's not sitting well with her.
Yeah.
I have a feeling at some point she's gonna like throw herself to the wolves, basically, and just be like, because like she's the one that seems to be the most terrified of the concept of death. But I
Yes.
do think that there's gonna be something that's gonna like snap in her and just be like, I don't know what this is, but like it's not right. Um, and she'll do something a bit sort of rash, and that will probably end her life.
I did like, however, that she is the most complainy one because
Mm.
she's the one like, why did I have to be called Nibs? And at least we
Yes.
get that answer.
Yeah, here's the thing. I wrote this down as well because I was like, I was surprised to have them address the whole naming thing after we spent so long talking about it in
Smee,
um
still Smee though. I don't care.
but I was thinking I think we got a lot of it right.
Yeah.
It seems like and they very explicitly showed that she had her name beforehand. I they haven't said it specifically, but I do think Wendy was probably the one who gave them the names. I think maybe they started helping after she decided to be Wendy, but like I think she was the one who was probably like, you should be this person, you should be this person.
Yeah.
Because that just feels like such a like a child who starts running games with other children thing would do. I'm gonna be this person, you're gonna be this person, you're gonna be this person. Why do I have to be this person, you know?
Yeah.
Um, that's the vibe going on. But it's fun. I'm appreciative of the fact that the thread is again so strong that we can have that conversation in an episode beforehand, and then it kind of gets answered in
Yeah.
exactly the way that we were thinking it was going to. Just means that the setup is done well.
Okay. Lost Boys.
Mm.
Done. Morrow and
Yes.
Utani.
Fucking I think this is the most interesting part of the episode for me.
Hmm.
Again, I have to look his name up again because I want to make sure I get it
It
right.
was Babu C. Say. I think it's
Yeah,
Kisei, but it's not the usual way that I see the word Sisei, but
I
like
think
I
it's
think
I
it's
think it's
Sisei.
Cisse. He's continues, I think, to be, if not for Timothy Oliphant, which as Lily has said, we do adore. I do think he's doing the most impressive work in this show. He's so fucking good. Every time he turns up, I'm like, good Lord, this guy's like doing like a bazillion things all at once, and I'm
Yeah.
very interested by them.
He has a
We had
presence.
He
Definitely,
does have a presence.
like he chews up the whole scene once he if he's in it.
Yeah. When is a machine not a machine?
When it's a jar. Um,
Yeah. But that's such a good like I love that as like that's such a like there's so much to chew on as like I think that as a question does so much because I think as the audience we already know the answer to it, but you can see him kind of running it over in his brain, being like, but there's something here. I know there is, and
mhm.
it's fun to be an audience member and be like, oh, there's a really like simple answer to this that we know very intimately, but watching him get to that spot is fun. Like especially as like you've got Slightly and Smee very desperately trying not to spill the beans
Yeah.
because I genuinely thought they were just going to start saying things.
Don't tell him, dude.
But yeah, I think he's just so interesting. And I think we got a lot of context as to who he was as a person
Yes.
and and why his motivations are so like pinpoint. I also think it kind of suggests why I think anyway. I'm maybe clutching at straws, but I think it suggests why Wayland Yutani maybe stopped making cyborgs at a certain point because the implication is that like because we haven't seen them like way later on
Hmm.
that there was sort of like it's like their laser discs, it's
Hmm.
like this is just not a format that is like conducive to like long term
Yeah.
um stuff. It's interesting. It's like they're the worst parts of like the human element and but not quite enough of the synthetic element to be helpful. And I think there was like almost a suggestion of like, oh, maybe the human elements will balance out some of the more synthetic parts, but in the end they thought basically essentially suggested I don't know. I'm headcanoning more than anything else, but
Hmm.
like this is how what the things that I'm extrapolating is like at a certain point these are ineffective in the long run. They have still have human biology.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with the data transfer looked like it was like actively hurting him, you know?
Yeah.
So
Again, the
yeah,
sweat.
it's just yeah, I was like he bleeds like a person, he gets damaged like a person. I'm so fascinated by him.
Yeah.
Um it's a really cool thing. Plus we find out that he had a daughter that he
Hmm.
clearly left behind and
Yes.
like it has like divorced himself from so much that he's like, well, this is my mission and I'm going to fucking finish it because otherwise he doesn't say it, but the implication is like otherwise this whole thing was a waste and I completely like I mutilated my body in in a sense to become something else for this work. And so it has to be worth it.
Yep.
That's the implication that I'm getting from it. It's just good stuff. He's so fascinating to me. I'm like, I want to like keep staring at him. Even Lily gave in and was like, you know what?
Yeah,
This
he's
guy's
okay.
really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's okay. Yeah,
He's pretty cool.
he's
I'm
pretty
like,
cool.
yeah, he fucking is.
Yeah. Morrow
Mm,
downloads all of the data up from the Maginot into
mm,
his head.
hmm
Must have been pretty painful. So
hmm
I guess it's a part human biology, part machine biology to actually take all that in, but
Yeah.
still, oof. And that data is gone, which it does clean up a few things. When he's on the phone with Utani,
Mm,
she wants him to come in for that data.
mm.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
that I'm assuming they don't have that data yet,
Yeah.
and Morrow is going to download that in more ways than one. So Whale and Utani don't have the data from the Maginot. They don't know. They know that they found creatures and eggs. They
hmm
know what Morrow has told them over Mother probably, but they don't have the data around
hmm
that.
They don't have the specifics of the research that they
Yes,
were clearly doing.
this is where it gets a bit timey-wimey.
Mm,
So cyborgs.
Mm,
He left. He left for that mission 65 years ago, and they were on a deep space research mission.
hmm
When he's come back 2 years before the events of Alien.
hmm
So if math is mathing, right,
hmm
then that means that in this timeline, Ripley has left 30 years ago.
Something to that effect, yeah.
Okay. Just trying to get to a point where the chronologically makes sense in my head. So like because we talked about this a little bit before. This is a prequel to Alien, but how much of a prequel is it to Alien
Mm.
when the Nostromo left 30 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, sure. It's it's yeah. I mean, then you start getting into a whole question about relativity, and that's like,
Yeah.
okay, sure. I don't have like enough knowledge of physics to be able to like to conceptualize it very well. Other than like, yes, the Nostromo has been and it is gone at this point. Like they will have left, and they are on their way to wherever they're planning on going. I don't remember the specifics of the plot
Well,
of Alien.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure they're on the way back, aren't they?
are they? I
I,
don't know.
I can't remember either,
This is the
right?
thing. I haven't seen Alien in like 5 years. It's been some time.
They're on a
Um,
haulage run, I think, for like on
this is
the from like mining stuff.
this
But
is why
like,
we Lily, you need to be here next week.
yeah, at the very least, they've not been on Earth for 30 years. If they because if we're to believe that the only place where the xenomorph eggs
Mm,
are on this planet where they find them,
hmm
then the Maginot turned up 30 years ago to collect them,
hmm
and then the Nostromo find them nowish.
Yeah, sort of, I think. Because they're still in deep space by the time we see them in so the stuff that in it I think technically speaking they must still be asleep.
They'll
Yeah.
be asleep on their run of haulage or whatever.
hmm
My head's exploding because, like, again, this is a prequel, but it's also not a prequel because like it's a prequel to the events of the Nostromo, but it's not a prequel of the Weyland-Yutani sending the Nostromo out. It,
hmm
it's a, the Weyland-Yutani know that like things on this planet, but they don't really know what it is currently because they don't know what the the data
There's
is.
no way that the Nostromo would have known anything about
Yes.
the other stuff, like anything to do with the eggs or anything. So them stumbling across it by accident is still, I think, viable.
Hmm.
Because that's not what the research vessel was for. It's not research, it's a mining
Hmm.
vessel. They're there for materials.
Yeah.
Um, I can't remember if there was another plot in Alien that suggested that it was also doing something else.
I
I
think he was
don't.
just passing by and Mother
Okay.
stopped it, you know?
Yeah. And she just sort of went, oh, hello, that's something
Hmm.
to look at, actually. We should get that thing. But I still think it lines up that the Nostromo would have absolutely no capability to deal with it.
Yes.
Because it wasn't intended for that. Whereas the Maginot was made to pick up like life forms and study them. So it has more materials and equipment. I think that logically tracks for me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm happy with that as like a reason why they did not have that stun gun over on the Nostromo,
Yeah.
right? And I can buy corporate greed being the reason why they completely underprepared them for deep space travel,
Yeah.
right? Because they're like, I don't know, these are just fucking mining. They're miners. We don't need to care about them that much. They don't need all the special equipment we have. We can save that for the people who are actually going out and giving us the stuff they're going to make us real money. That's I think the logic behind it, right? Lily doesn't believe me.
Yeah. Where it gets a little bit contentious
Mhm.
is the settlers on that planet later on. Like and sending the colonial Marines when
This is where I have absolutely no knowledge about any of it.
yeah. So I and that's where it gets a little bit contentious. Unless they're doing an experiment on that colony,
Mm.
then they just let them go. But I don't know. It Continuity.
Well, it's
At the moment, it's not bothering me
no,
whatsoever.
I don't really care, but I do think, and this is another thing that Lily brought up, she has put forward that she doesn't quite understand why they've decided to make this a prequel specifically. Like why is this taking place 2 years before the events of Alien? Even if the relativity of the whole thing does kind of make it a bit like kind of questionable timey-wimey sort of stuff.
Mhm.
I do think she does raise an interesting point in that I don't know if it's justified itself enough to say that like this actively takes place 2 years before the Nostromo comes across.
Yeah,
It's like an asteroid, isn't it?
it's a moon.
It's a moon. Because I my thoughts on prequels is that they can be very tricky,
Yeah,
but when you do them right, what they do narratively is that they not really justify, but like add layers to the original material that you wouldn't get without a sort of sense of like narrative inevitability, I guess. You want that sort of sense of tragedy of like going, oh, I know where this is going, and um the, the ways in which this is happening is not like stopping. If you
yeah,
want to like give a sense of like how a good tragedy is put together, you can read my article on why the Umbrella Academy didn't work because I kind of go into this a little bit. But like no, but genuinely, I do think that like a good tragedy, like prequels are kind of inherently made to be good tragedies because they play on that sense of like we know what the ending is and
yeah,
either there was no way to stop it or there was but the people were too much themselves in order to like come they you know
yeah.
they were
Cruella.
too stuck in the narrative to recognize they were stuck in the narrative, you know.
Yeah,
At this point we don't know why specifically this needed to take place before.
yeah,
um I don't, and I'm not saying that they're not going to answer that question. We just don't. Like it'll be one to come back to, I think, at the end of the season, as to like whether or not there is genuinely a reason
yeah.
for this. Which there may be. I'm perfect. I don't know. I don't have a
We're
crystal
three
ball.
episodes
We're
in.
3 episodes in, um, uh, and right now it seems like they're much more interested in this sort of. I think this is, if anything, doing the work of like showing why Wayland Yutani kind of own the universe in a sense. Like I think they're very like there's almost like a chess game happening.
Yeah,
And Prodigy are about to get taken off the board, and probably Wayland Yutani are about to become even more powerful than they were when both of these vessels left.
I would very much agree that Prodigy are going to be wiped out at some point in the course of this series, and whether it's a one season series or a two-season series
Hmm.
or whatever, how many series it's going to be. But like Prodigy's not going to be alive at the end.
Mm-mm. Do we know if this is a limited series or not?
I don't know. It feels like it could be,
Mm.
but like if it makes money, Disney ain't going to leave money on the table.
It's true. It is true. I have one thing to bring up because
Hmm.
they've shown it like in every episode.
Okay.
What's with the mold?
In the Prodigy
Yeah.
complex with that guy who's sealing
He's
stuff
like,
up.
yeah, he's kind of like it looks like mold to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Every time I look at it, it reminds me of Control. Um,
Um,
and I don't know if I'm reading into things incorrectly, but it seems like something that is rotting the place. It looks like the place has some kind of a rot that they're trying to keep under control. With the guy who's like,
interesting.
can't tell if he's like fumigating it or if he's like trying to burn it off or like or anything like that. But it seems like something that is like spreading over the walls. And I don't know if it's just like a physical metaphor for this place about to like
Yeah.
cannibalize itself. But every time I look at it, I'm like, what's that?
See, I read it a different way. I didn't see the mold, but
I don't know if it is actually mold, but it looks kind of like mold to me.
I just thought he was like sealing up doors and stuff. I don't know
Oh, because
why.
it is something there's an odd shape to it that looks like it's
Right.
grown out of something.
Interesting. I don't know.
I just thought I'd bring it up because I keep looking at it and being like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and why is there a guy in like a hazmat suit just
Hmm.
spraying stuff around? Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
just
pretty weird.
yeah. V pay control.
Yes.
So you know the mold like that very much that sort of
Oh,
like
that
there's
it's a horrible section. I hate that section.
I The first time I tried to fight that thing down in the basement, it took me so many times, and then the second time I went down, like second time I played it, or the third, I can't remember exactly. I killed it within like 30 seconds.
Really.
I have a clip of it. So I was like, I'm sick at this actually.
I'm good at this.
But it's one of in the same very similar vein where it's just like this is just another thing that's happening in this place. By the way, there's just mold. It's not even actually mold. Don't worry about it. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried because there's mold people walking around throwing things at me. Spoilers for Control, I guess, but like
Yeah,
it's not
it's
really
not
like
huge spoilers.
it's not really the main plot. It's very much a thing you could just not do. It just is around.
It's just another biome. Every weird game's got a fucking poison biome, and this one's that one.
Yeah.
You know.
Just weird space mold. Don't worry about it.
Hmm.
Interdimensional mold. Yeah, it just that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the sort of like, hey, we've also got this other thing fucking going on. I guess it's fine. There's a guy fumigating it the whole time, and we were just
Nothing
sort of
to
like,
see here.
just. And they looked at it. They were very consciously looking at it a few times in this episode. So I think it's going to have some kind of payoff soon.
Okay.
But I'm just sort of like looking at it, going, what's that? What's the deal with that?
Hmm.
What's going on here? There's so many other things going on that I think it's going to fly under the radar until suddenly it comes up and it's like, this is the worst thing actually that's going on, by the way.
Just random mold on this tropical island.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it for the spoiler talk. Should we go on to our little reviews?
Yeah.
I said that weird, didn't I? Little reviews. Little reviews.
Little wobbles.
Katie, do you want to go first today?
I actually remember to rate it at the end of the episode. Are we all proud of me? I even wrote it down and everything. I wrote, good fucking episode. We'll continue watching 8.5 out of 10. So I think I'm about on the same as I was the last episode. I don't think it was certainly not any worse, but I don't think it had quite gotten to a point where it was like actively better.
Yeah.
I do think it has raised a lot of very interesting questions that I'm like really, really into now. And I'm glad that we're not in that building anymore because I was a bit worried that we were going to be there the whole time. And it's like, oh, okay, we're not. We are going back to the island and all this sort of stuff. And I think that's a much more interesting environment to play out the rest of this season. So yeah, I'm into it. I like it.
Same.
Mm.
I'm just simpatico, man. Like
Mhm.
the 8.5 is where I go. It's a different vibe.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
two different vibes in this episode, just like major battle, lots
Mhm.
of political intrigue. And I say political intrigue with like the Lost Boys and like positioning for power and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these episodes at the moment. It's sort of it's hitting that alien spot, as it were. That's not saying, but what? Hey ho, whatever. And it's letting me I'm still doing that thing where I'm explaining away the little inconsistencies. It's like, well, the Utani don't have any data, and now they're in a contained place so that the alien can't be seen by
You make
passers-by.
like a good point about the Utani thing because like Prodigy have all the data because
Yeah.
Kirsch took it.
Yeah.
So it kind of becomes a thing of like, are they going to have it so that like everybody loses all the data, or are Wayland Yutani going to be able to like take it from
Yeah.
whatever servers
The
that they have
facility, yeah.
at Neverland and all this sort of stuff? It's I don't know. I think it's well done. The other thing I did notice, I forgot to write it down, but like it just reminded me, it's very Noah Hawley trademark, but the songs that they use at the end for the credits, there's always just like a new one that they throw in, and every time I'm like, that's a cool like song. They did it a lot in Legion. And it was one of my favorite parts of it, actually. And it always feels a little bit like this feels tonally different to everything else that's going on in the show because it suddenly feels like, oh, there's like actual music. I mean, not to say that the score isn't actual music, but like we've got like songs occurring at the end, and they very they put a mood on things in a very interesting way. I'd say it's just a small thing, but I like it a lot.
We should probably wrap this up. Let's wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup on the Alien Earth episode 3. If you like this, do all the good things. Like, subscribe, leave comments.
Leave comments, please.
Please leave comments, man.
I like discussing things.
Yeah. So, and if you can possibly afford it, subscribe on Couch Soup and support independent creators like us. But for now, we'll be back next week with another episode of Alien Earth,
Woo.
and we'll see you again next week.
Godspeed.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
We did have Lily spoil a bit of stuff for
Yeah,
us on the group chat, though.
I was like, wait, hang on a second. What episode are you on? She's like, oh, episode 3. And I'm like, babe, none of us have watched this yet. It's like 10 in the morning. I'm at work.
Thank you.
I love you, Lily.
Love you. Yeah, we love you. We love you. But please don't spoil it in the first couple of hours of the episode. Thank you.